Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation titled Adult Relationships and the Power of Childlike Love. We'll explore how the bonds we build as adults are shaped by experience and responsibility, but also how embracing a sense of childlike love can bring a fresh, powerful perspective. Over the next few slides, we'll look at what makes adult relationships unique, the role of maturity, and how reconnecting with that innocent, genuine love can deepen our connections. Let's get started. Let's explore the paradox of depth and tenderness. In the healthiest relationships, those built on emotional safety and trust, there's often this surprising element of childlike innocence. It might seem counterintuitive. How can depth coexist with softness? But what we see is a kind of playfulness, a gentle, almost innocent atmosphere that emerges when people feel truly safe. It's like returning to a state of tenderness, where genuine connection isn't just serious or intense, but also light, warm, and playful. This combination of emotional depth and tenderness is actually what makes relationships truly resilient and fulfilling. It reminds us that strength doesn't have to be rigid, and vulnerability can coexist with a sense of playfulness and innocence. At first glance, this might seem paradoxical, right? It's one of those moments where what we expect and what we observe don't quite line up. But here's the interesting part. It's precisely this seeming contradiction that actually helps us uncover the deepest truths about love. Sometimes, it's in these paradoxes, these moments where things seem to oppose each other, that we find the most profound insights. So, as we explore love further, remember that embracing these paradoxes can lead us to a richer, more nuanced understanding of what love truly is. Let's talk about the childlike dimension of deep love. In close relationships, it's common to see partners using affectionate nicknames like baby, poppet, or sweetpea. These terms reflect a softer, more tender side of us that we reserve just for that special person. When we speak to them, our voices tend to soften and lift into a gentler register, something that feels intimate and unique. We also exchange small symbols of affection, like stuffed animals or little tokens, things that might seem juvenile to outsiders, but hold deep meaning for us. These gestures reinforce our bond and create a playful, caring dynamic. And then there are inside jokes, shared language and humor that only we understand. These inside jokes deepen our connection by creating a private world just for us. All of these elements, softened voices, symbols of affection, and inside jokes, highlight how love can bring out a childlike, playful, and vulnerable side. It's a beautiful reminder that deep love isn't just about maturity or seriousness. It's also about embracing that innocent, joyful part of ourselves that feels safe and loved with someone special. This childlike dimension enriches our relationships, making them more genuine and deeply connected. Imagine a fuzzy toy giraffe sitting comfortably on a shelf next to a plush golden retriever. These toys might seem like simple childhood playthings, but they actually serve a much deeper purpose. They might talk to each other, cuddle when one of us is feeling sad, or act as little emotional ambassadors during tough days. In daylight, this might look embarrassingly childish or even regressive, but that's a narrow view. The truth is, adult love, the kind of deep connection we seek, is built on a foundation laid in childhood. When that foundation is strong, secure, and healthy, it naturally fosters tenderness, wonder, and vulnerability, qualities we often associate with childhood. So even if these toys seem trivial, they symbolize something important, that the way we learn to love and feel safe as children directly influences how we relate to others and to ourselves as adults. Understanding this connection helps us appreciate why nurturing that secure, loving foundation early on is so vital for our emotional well-being later in life. Why might childlike behavior in love be misunderstood as immaturity? Well, actually, it's quite the opposite. When we call our partner by diminutives or affectionate nicknames, it's not a sign of foolishness. It's a sign of trust. It indicates that we're comfortable enough to show vulnerability, openness, and emotional honesty, things we often lose as we grow older and learn to protect ourselves. In everyday life, many of us are high-performing professionals. Whether we're defense attorneys, senior nurses, venture capitalists, or entrepreneurs, and we carry a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. But in love, the real kind of love, we make space for the softer, more vulnerable parts of ourselves. The parts that need comfort, that long to be seen, and that want to give affection without pretense or facade. When two adults can safely express these younger, more genuine parts of themselves, it's not regression. It's integration. It's about becoming more whole. It's about embracing all facets of who we are, including the playful, vulnerable, and tender aspects that we often leave behind as we grow up. And that's a powerful, beautiful thing in love. Let's talk about why some people resist this tenderness. When you hear someone dismissing what they call babyish behavior in relationships, it's worth pausing to ask, what happened to the child within them? Why was that part of themselves silenced so forcefully? One key reason is discomfort with fragility. Often, these individuals are uncomfortable being seen as vulnerable or delicate. They learned early on that showing vulnerability was unsafe, unreliable, or simply unwelcome. As a result, they develop a hardened exterior to protect themselves from feeling exposed or vulnerable. But here's the important part. This hardened exterior makes it difficult for them to be gentle with the fragility of others. And that's where many people get it wrong. Suppressing emotions isn't the same as growing up or maturing. True maturity involves accepting all parts of ourselves, our emotional layers, not denying them. So, understanding this helps us see that resistance to tenderness often stems from past wounds and learned defenses, not from a lack of caring or compassion. When we talk about emotional maturity, it's important to understand that it's not about eliminating our vulnerabilities or being completely soft. Instead, it's about integrating those qualities into a stable and confident sense of self. Maturity involves recognizing and accepting all parts of ourselves, even the tender or weaker ones, and being able to navigate life with a balanced perspective. To truly love well, there are a few key things we need to learn. First, we have to be caregivers to the younger parts of our partner. That might mean offering patience and understanding when they're feeling vulnerable or insecure. Second, we need to allow our partners to care for the younger parts of us, creating space where we can be nurtured and supported. And third, it's crucial to create a safe space where both of us can soften, where vulnerability is welcomed and not judged. This isn't childish behavior, it's a fundamentally human experience. Paradoxically, many of us don't reconnect with authentic play, affection, or emotional honesty until we're adults. Life's challenges often test us, but they also teach us that feeling safe enough to express our true, unfiltered emotions, something we experienced naturally at around 3 years old, is vital for genuine connection. So when two adults laugh, play, cuddle stuffed animals, or speak in tender tones, it's really not a sign of regression. It's actually a powerful testament to the emotional depth of the relationship. It shows that both of you feel safe enough to be vulnerable, held, understood, and accepted in your most raw and authentic states. These childlike moments in love aren't indicators of immaturity. They're signs of healing, intimacy, and emotional fluency. They reveal a relationship where both partners can finally relax and truly be themselves, unfiltered, uncensored, and real. Sometimes we need to grow up fully, mature emotionally and otherwise, before we can love with that pure, childlike openness again. It's a beautiful reminder that true intimacy involves embracing those vulnerable, playful, and tender parts of ourselves, no matter our age.